In the journey of life, especially for those who feel a deep, resonant call towards a higher purpose or a chosen path, the terrain can be both bewildering and enlightening. You see, chosen ones especially need to beware that not all that glitters is gold, and even the most enlightened beings have their Achilles heel. Here we unveil the things you, as a chosen one, should never under any circumstances tolerate. One of the most significant of these trials is navigating the waters of respect, both towards oneself and towards others. Respect is a foundational stone upon which societies are built and personal relationships are formed and maintained. It's a concept deeply embedded in countless philosophies and religions, spanning from the ancient wisdom of Confucius, who taught the importance of respect in his vision of a harmonious society, to the teachings of Christianity, where respect is intertwined with the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This principle is not just a guideline for moral behavior, but a profound spiritual law that reflects the interconnectedness of all life. Yet in our modern age, where the pace of life has quickened and the focus often narrows to the self, the essence of respect can sometimes be lost. This loss is felt not just in personal interactions, but in the broader strokes of societal values and the media we consume. It's here, on this chosen path, that the first trial emerges, the refusal to tolerate disrespect towards oneself or others. To understand why this tolerance can be so detrimental, we might turn to the parable of the two arrows found in Buddhist teachings. The first arrow represents an initial wrongdoing or harm, an unavoidable part of human existence. The second arrow, however, represents our reaction to the first, the one we have control over. When we tolerate disrespect, it's as if we're willingly letting that second arrow strike us, deepening the wound. This tolerance not only harms our self-esteem and inner peace, but also subtly perpetuates a culture where disrespect becomes normalized, further eroding the social fabric. The teachings of ancient Stoicism also provide insight into this trial. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus emphasized the importance of controlling our reactions to external events and treating others with dignity regardless of their behavior towards us. They taught that our inner freedom and peace are achieved not by changing our external circumstances, but by adjusting our perceptions and reactions. In this light, not tolerating disrespect becomes not just a stand for personal dignity, but a practice of inner discipline and freedom. Never tolerate manipulation and deceit. Embarking further into the depths of our spiritual journey, we encounter another pivotal marker that tests our resolve and integrity, the complex web of manipulation and deceit. This trial, much like a mirage in the desert, can distort our perception of reality, leading us astray from our true path. The chosen ones, those who have felt the stirrings of a higher calling, must navigate this terrain with both wisdom and discernment. For in the shadows of manipulation, the light of truth becomes our most trusted guide. Manipulation and deceit, in their many guises, challenge our inner compass, pushing us to question not only the intentions of others, but also the clarity of our own convictions. The ancient art of rhetoric, as discussed by Aristotle, teaches us the power of persuasion and its capacity for both noble and nefarious ends. He introduced us to the concepts of ethos, pathos, and logos, reminding us that the power of words can either uplift or manipulate, depending on the character and intent of the one who wields them. In the midst of these reflections, our journey takes us to the teachings of a medieval philosopher, Thomas Aquinas, whose insights into the human soul and its inclinations offer a beacon of clarity in navigating the murky waters of manipulation. Aquinas, living in a time when the foundations of belief and knowledge were often questioned, sought to harmonize the wisdom of the ancients with the truths of his faith. He taught that true understanding and wisdom come from the integration of faith and reason, a concept that provides a stable grounding when faced with the illusions of deceit. Aquinas emphasized the virtue of prudence as the means to discern the true path among many misleading ones. Prudence for him was not merely cautiousness but a deeper form of wisdom that involves seeing things as they truly are, making decisions based on this reality and acting accordingly. This virtue becomes particularly crucial in the face of manipulation, as it enables one to see beyond the immediate allure of persuasive words to the underlying intentions and truths. Moreover, Thomas Aquinas highlighted the importance of intention behind our actions. In a world where manipulation and deceit can twist the perception of our deeds, maintaining a pure intention ensures that our actions align with the truth and good. He argued that it's not just the outcome of our actions that matter, but the reason why we undertake them. This perspective offers a shield against being swayed by manipulation, as it anchors our actions in a moral and ethical framework that is not easily distorted. The trial of navigating manipulation and deceit is not merely about external influences. It is a mirror reflecting our inner vulnerabilities and desires. Just as the lotus flower uses the mud from which it grows to nourish its blossoming, we too can use our experiences with deceit as fertile ground for growth. This process of turning adversity into strength is echoed in the philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti, who urged us to understand ourselves deeply as a means of transcending the illusions that bind us. By looking inward, we disarm the power of deceit, finding our anchor in the bedrock of self-awareness and authenticity. Never tolerate toxic relationships and environments. Toxicity, whether in the form of relationships that bind us to cycles of hurt and misunderstanding, or environments that stifle our growth and cloud our vision, is like the sirens of Greek mythology, enchanting yet perilous. The siren's song, beautiful and deadly, lured sailors to their doom with promises of divine knowledge and bliss. Similarly, toxic relationships and environments often disguise themselves as havens of comfort and familiarity, making the escape from their grasp all the more challenging. It is here, amidst these trials, that the wisdom of Odysseus becomes our guide. By having his crew plug their ears with wax and himself tied to the mast, he safely navigated past the siren's call, a metaphor for the resolve needed to move beyond the allure of toxic situations. The Bhagavad Gita, an ancient Indian scripture, offers profound insights into the nature of duty, action and detachment, which are invaluable when confronting toxicity. Lord Krishna's counsel to Arjuna amidst the battlefield of Kurukshetra serves as a reminder that our actions must be rooted in dharma, righteous duty, rather than attachment to outcomes or relationships. This teaching encourages us to discern our true path, even when it means stepping away from relationships and environments that do not serve our highest good. The chosen ones understand that their mission transcends personal fulfillment. It is woven into the fabric of their interactions and the environments they inhabit. Thus, embracing non-toxic relationships and fostering environments of growth and positivity is not just a personal preference but a spiritual mandate. This choice reflects a commitment to the well-being of all beings, recognizing that each individual's healing contributes to the collective healing of humanity. Navigating away from toxic relationships and environments is akin to the alchemical process of transformation. Just as the alchemist turns base metals into gold, the chosen ones transform their experiences of toxicity into lessons of strength, compassion, and resilience. This transformation is not a denial of the pain or challenges faced, but a transcendence, a rebirth into a state of greater wisdom and understanding. Never tolerate ego-driven behaviors and intentions. As we tread further on the path of the chosen ones, our journey brings us to confront the mirrors of our own souls, ego-driven behaviors and intentions. This challenge is perhaps one of the most subtle and personal we face. The ego, with its myriad desires, fears and aspirations, often masquerades as our true self, leading us astray with pride, greed and the hunger for approval. The wisdom of Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher and founder of Taoism, offers a serene pool of reflection on this aspect of our journey. In the Tao Te Ching, he speaks of the virtue of humility and the strength found in yielding, in being like water, which nourishes all things without trying to compete with them. This teaching urges us to look beyond our egos, to find the power in softness, the strength in being true to our nature without the need for dominance or recognition. This step in our journey calls for a deep introspection and honesty with oneself. It's about recognizing that the path we walk is not for the elevation of our egos, but for the fulfillment of a higher purpose. The stories of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, with their quests for the Holy Grail, symbolize this inner journey. The Grail, a representation of divine grace and enlightenment, could only be found by the pure of heart, those who had transcended the ego's control and were driven by a cause greater than themselves. Ego-driven behaviors often lead us into a maze of comparison, competition, and the endless pursuit of validation from others, distracting us from our true mission. They cloud our judgment and lead us away from our authentic selves and our connection to others. It's a trial that requires us to use the shield of self-awareness and the sword of truth, cutting through the illusions of the ego to the essence of our being. The process of overcoming ego-driven behaviors and intentions is not about self-denial or rejection of our personalities. Instead, it's about harmonizing our actions and intentions with our deeper values and the universal laws of love, compassion, and service. It's about acting not for the applause of the moment, but for the timeless song of the soul, contributing to the world in ways that uplift and heal. In this effort, the practice of meditation, prayer, or contemplation becomes a sanctuary, a space where we can connect with the part of us that is eternal and unchanging. These practices help us to detach from the transient desires of the ego and to align with a purpose that transcends our individual selves. As chosen ones, our journey through the realm of ego-driven behaviors and intentions is both a battle and a dance. It's a battle against the lower aspects of ourselves and a dance with the divine, moving in harmony with the rhythm of the universe. By transcending our egos, we become vessels for a higher will, channels through which healing, light, and love can flow freely. Never tolerate dishonesty and lack of integrity. Now we encounter the challenge of dishonesty and a lack of integrity. This challenge isn't just about telling the truth in our words, but living truthfully in our actions and in alignment with our core values. It's a testament to the integrity of the path we've chosen to walk, one where honesty becomes the beacon that guides us through the darkest nights. The essence of integrity is beautifully encapsulated in the philosophy of Immanuel Kant, an 18th century philosopher who championed the principle of acting in ways that could be universalized, where one's actions are in harmony with a universal moral law. According to Kant, to act with integrity is to act in accordance with a maxim that you wish all other rational beings would follow. This principle pushes us to consider our actions not just in light of personal gain or loss, but as part of a larger, interconnected moral tapestry. Living a life of honesty and integrity challenges us to be congruent, where our actions match our words and our outer expressions are reflections of our inner truths. It's about making choices that may not always be easy or comfortable, but are right. This concept is mirrored in the ancient wisdom of the Vedas, which teach us about satya, or truthfulness, as a cornerstone of a virtuous life. It is understood not merely as speaking the truth, but as living in a way that is aligned with the cosmic truth, promoting harmony and balance. It is like walking through a forest at night, guided only by the stars. The temptation to stray from the path, to take shortcuts, or to disguise our true intentions for immediate gratification can be strong, yet it is the star of honesty that keeps us oriented, ensuring that our steps are taken in the right direction, even when the path is not clear. The challenge of dishonesty and a lack of integrity is not a battle with the outside world, but a dialogue with the self. It's about confronting the shadows within that persuade us to compromise our values for the illusion of success, acceptance, or security. The struggle is real and ongoing, but it is through this very struggle that we find our strength and our character is forged. To live with integrity is to embrace vulnerability. Brené Brown, a modern researcher on the themes of courage and vulnerability, highlights the power of owning our stories and living our truth, even when it means standing alone. This vulnerability is not a weakness, but the greatest measure of our courage and the truest expression of our humanity. It is in this vulnerability that we find authentic connections with others and with the divine, for it is our truth that resonates with the universal truths that bind us all. Never tolerate judgment and condemnation. As we continue along the sacred path of the chosen ones, we encounter a trial that tests not only our resolve, but also our compassion and understanding, the challenge of judgment and condemnation. In this realm, the opinions and perceptions of others can weigh heavily upon us, casting shadows of doubt and insecurity on our journey. Yet it is precisely in these moments of judgment that the light of our true selves shines brightest. The human tendency to judge and condemn others is deeply ingrained, rooted in our evolutionary past, and perpetuated by societal norms and cultural conditioning. From the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector in the Christian tradition to the teachings of non-judgment in Buddhism, spiritual traditions around the world have recognized the destructive nature of judgment and the importance of cultivating compassion and empathy. In the face of judgment and condemnation, the teachings of Jesus Christ offer a profound example of grace and forgiveness. He famously said, "Let him who is without sin cast the first stone," reminding us that none of us are without fault and that humility and compassion should guide our interactions with others. Similarly, in the Taoist tradition, the concept of Wu Wei, or non-action, teaches us to let go of the need to judge and control others, allowing the natural flow of life to unfold without interference. Yet, despite our understanding of the harm caused by judgment, we often find ourselves on the receiving end of condemnation from others. The sting of judgment can cut deep, triggering feelings of shame, inadequacy, and resentment. It's a trial that calls for resilience and inner strength, a reminder that our worth and value are not determined by the opinions of others, but by the truth of our own hearts. The practice of self-compassion, as advocated by psychologists such as Kristin Neff, offers a powerful antidote to the wounds inflicted by judgment. By treating ourselves with kindness, understanding, and acceptance, we create a shield of love that protects us from the arrows of criticism and condemnation. Self-compassion also enables us to extend empathy and compassion to those who judge us, recognizing that their actions are often rooted in their own pain and insecurity. In the face of judgment and condemnation, the chosen ones stand as beacons of light, radiating love and acceptance in the face of darkness. They understand that true strength lies not in retaliating or defending themselves, but in embracing their vulnerability and choosing love over fear. It's a transformative alchemy that transmutes judgment into understanding, condemnation into compassion. Never tolerate attachment and clinging to outcomes. Attachment to outcomes is rooted in the illusion of control, the belief that we can manipulate the circumstances of life to fit our desires and expectations. This illusion is shattered by the teachings of the Stoic philosophers, who emphasize the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is beyond it. Epictetus, one of the prominent Stoic thinkers, famously said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not. We must focus on what is within our power and let go of the rest." This principle invites us to release our attachment to outcomes beyond our control and instead focus on cultivating virtue and inner strength. In the teachings of Buddhism, attachment is identified as one of the root causes of suffering, known as dukkha. The Buddha taught that clinging to desires and expectations leads to dissatisfaction and discontentment, trapping us in a cycle of craving and aversion. The practice of mindfulness meditation offers a pathway to freedom from attachment, allowing us to observe our thoughts and emotions with detachment and compassion. The challenge of attachment and clinging to outcomes is often exacerbated by societal pressures and cultural expectations. We are bombarded with messages that equate success with material wealth, status and achievement, leaving little room for the value of inner peace and contentment. Yet, the wisdom of the Tao Te Ching reminds us that true power lies in yielding, in aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life rather than resisting it. Lao Tzu wrote, "Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself?" This teaching invites us to trust in the wisdom of the universe and relinquish our attachment to specific outcomes. The journey of the chosen ones is marked by a willingness to surrender to the mystery of existence, to embrace the unknown with open hearts and minds. It is a journey of faith and trust, knowing that even in the face of uncertainty, we are held by a greater force that guides and sustains us. By releasing our attachment to outcomes, we free ourselves from the burden of expectation and open ourselves to the infinite possibilities that life has to offer. In the face of attachment, the chosen ones stand as beacons of light, illuminating the path of surrender and trust for all who are willing to follow. They understand that true fulfillment lies not in the attainment of specific goals, but in the journey itself, in the moments of joy, connection and growth that unfold along the way. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.